You always have to think about the story, even in something as simple as a single panel infographic. You need to draw money. Go. It is absolutely essential to show data visually. Human beings are visual creatures across the board. And on top of that, when you're communicating data in particular, we literally can't understand the data unless it's presented to us in a visual way. A bunch of numbers on a page mean nothing in some cases to most of us, and certainly aren't maximally communicated except in visual forms. So in the vast majority of cases, for the vast majority of audiences and the vast majority of data, literally the only way it makes sense is to see it visually. And infographics are the way to do that. Let's see, what do we have?
Wallet,
A wallet.
reaching for some bills.
Yep, makes sense. We have two people.
I don't know.
Is that like a transaction? These events are really geared towards communicators, people who are presented data, given data by their bosses or colleagues, and have to turn that into experiences to be communicated. So the kind of people who come here aren't really data people for the most part. They really are a lot of people from communications within consulting firms, NGOs like the World Bank or large international organizations, government people, a lot of professional services firms, but it's really any industry. It's really people who are in communications who have data and need to tell complex stories. The best workshops are always the ones where people are really engaged, and I do some lecturing, I do some talking, but for the most part there are a lot of hands-on activities, and the people who get the most out of these workshops are the ones who come in with a very open mind and willing to try new things and go a little outside of their comfort zone, and that's really what a workshop's all about. It's not just listening to someone talk, it's really experiencing the learning yourself.
This represents learning, so there's like a book and a graph.
I'm a professional communicator, and one of the biggest challenges that we have as communicators is being able to tailor data to different audiences and making sure it's part of a cohesive narrative rather than just spitting out numbers. And what the visualization course will help us to do is create images and graphics that will influence not only our audiences but help drive new audiences and more diverse audiences, and hopefully influence policy to achieve the mission of the foundation where I work.
And we just worked on a project together as a group, trying to understand how to show and visualize data in an infographic form. It was really helpful for us to really get our heads together and be able to understand how each of us played a role in this design process. And this workshop has really helped us really hone in our skills in terms of teamwork and also in terms of just visualizing the data itself.
Really understanding the process and figuring out where to start and get the best out of that from start to finish. Make it look nice, easy to read, and so the audience gets the best out of it.
Absolutely.
No, go for it.
As a fine artist and a graphic designer, being able to use my hands and how there was emphasis placed on actually getting away from the computer screen, being actually able to think visually, I think is a bit of a lost art. And being able to appreciate that with these numbers in mind, I think helps drive home some of these points longer than anticipated. And in a nutshell, it's just been very fun so far.
So the goal of these workshops is that every single person will leave day one with the ability to think differently about data and how to tell stories with data and how to essentially project manage an infographic process. By the end of day two, they feel very, very comfortable doing that, and in some cases really lead the conversation in terms of how to turn data into an infographic.
What motivated me to come today is to expand outside of my technical skills and actually to think, what story are we trying to tell? And this workshop seemed to be the place to help me advance that, and so far it has been.
Bill is a great instructor, does a great job of keeping everyone engaged, especially considering that we have such a diverse array of professionals here with different motivations. I think he does a great job of making sure it's all relevant to what everyone wants to accomplish from this workshop.
This industry is only going to grow because visualizing data is absolutely critical. So the more information there is out in the world, the more important it is to communicate it effectively, which means communicating it visually.
In our developed stack,